Hey guys, it's quote unquote your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary slash great response video. You know, this one is, I had known for, I don't know, at least a week, or maybe not at least a week, around a week, that I had wanted to do a video talking about weightlifting. And, you know, this video here I found I think is kind of a good thing to I could kind of do a response to this video while talking about weightlifting at at the same time. So I'll start off with the part that I wanted to go into, the part more about me with the weightlifting. I started lifting weights when I figured this out last night. I think it was when I was 12. It might have been when I was No, it would have been when I don't know, 12 or 13. It doesn't matter. I know for sure it was in the spring of when I was in 6th grade. That's when I started lifting weights. Now, since then, and I'm 36 now, I've been doing some form of strength training since then for the next, I guess, 23 plus years. In some form or another for most of those 23 plus years. I mean, I had health problems, so I wasn't able to do this stuff. And, but mostly I had been doing it for some form of strength training with very little to show for it. Some strength gains when I was young, and eventually some size gains as I got older. But that's kind of not really neither here nor there. The thing is, it's more about like now, like I haven't lifted for a while now, at least a couple of weeks. And even when I was lifting before, due to like energy and time constraints, I was only doing arm workouts just to try to see like, well, let's see how much I can build my arms up. And then if it works, I can, do it to some other body parts. And, obviously arms are the ultimate vanity muscle. But right now, lately, I've been wondering if it's something that I'm even going to ever go back to. And I really don't know because, and it's because of, like we're talking about in this video, we talk about men who work out for vanity. It's, remember how not in the last video, I'm sorry, but how I talked about the need to get away from vanity, which is something that I do believe in. And, so, but weightlifting can kind of almost be a deceptively vanity thing, because even when I was a kid, I mean, maybe when I first started back when I was like 12 or 13, whatever it was, by the time I got to high school at least, I understood that girls did not care about muscles. It just wasn't something that, wasn't a factor for them. I didn't realize how much girls cared about frame and height. I thought they mainly cared, about face. But I certainly didn't. I certainly knew even as a kid that women don't care about muscles. I never really got like the things when I would read stuff about bodybuilding, like, oh, this will get you the girls, and or women will love this and stuff. It's like, except no women are attracted to bodybuilder types. So it never made sense to me. But even still, so because of that, and I was thinking that, that lifting was something that, what I think of it as is lifting is something that I do for me. So it's not vanity because I do it for me. Because here's what I always said is, like, even if there was literally no other person in the world, I would still lift weights. Therefore, it's not vanity. But, the more I think about it, that's not really true. Because it's not like, while a good workout can be satisfying, it's not, like, let's put it this way. Some people, let's say, like, you knew, like, you were gonna die tomorrow. Would you still, like, go to the gym today? Probably not. So, because it just would seem pointless. So you're not really working out for its own sake. And even I always knew that. But you're just like, even if, like, in like my case, I said I would do it if literally nobody else existed. And because I also understood that, like, get big, stay small, whatever, nobody cares. Women don't care, guys don't care, nobody cares. I get that. But the fact is that I cared. And you know, and that's because, I mean, it's like, I mean, that's, I mean, and the fact that I care, that is a form of vanity. So it's nothing like, I mean, that's like why I'm going through doing the same thing over and over, continuing to lift for no reason, because there's no real, you know, it's easy to think, oh, like do you guys remember that? I know some of you guys are younger, so you didn't watch Seinfeld, and you're not missing much. The show was shit, but there's this thing in Seinfeld that Seinfeld has got this guy who he's eating with who doesn't really like, and named Banyan. And so Banyan has given Seinfeld his suit, so as a reward, Seinfeld has taken him out to dinner. And Banyan says, the reason I gave you this suit is because I can't fit it in anymore because I'm lifting weights, so I'm huge. And then he says, do you lift weights, Jerry? And then Seinfeld says, no. And then Banyan says, you should. And then Jerry says, why? and Banyan just has like this confused look on his face. And I mean, it's a really good point. Like they're like, you know, people say, oh, like, I mean, everybody says that, right? Like, oh yeah, you should lift weights. Like, I mean, it's everywhere. It's not even just to the red pill community. It's everybody says, oh yeah, you should lift weights. But it's like, okay, why? Like, what's the point? And there really is no point, not beyond vanity, even if you're doing it for yourself. Because the thing is, and I'm not making this video to tell you that you shouldn't lift weights. And, you know, I myself may go back to lifting again. I mean, the reason I'm not lifting now is not some principled stand against vanity. It's because I don't really have a lot of energy or motivation right now. But, you know, that could change. You know, if I was to get more energy, then I may decide to start going back to the gym. I mean, it would be hard now with COVID and stuff, but, you know, I mean, when COVID's done. So I may eventually, you know, go back to lifting weights. So right, I'm not telling you not to lift weights. I'm just saying, like, you know, you have to have an understanding about why you do it. And I do think it can be harmful. I think looking back, it probably did me more harm than good, because I certainly didn't get any health benefits from it. And you know, like, and so, I mean, like, yeah, I added some muscle, but again, I haven't lifted for a while now. So for all I know, you know, I'm exactly the same amount of muscle that I would be if I'd never touched a weight. And, you know, I mean, that certainly could be that's probably true. It's probably true. Let's be honest. And, but even if I did add muscle, like, okay, what's the point of that? You know, I mean, it's just, there's no inherent value into having big muscles, having bigger muscles. But yeah. So I mean, in the red pill community, it's so promoted as this, you know, just lift bro. And, you know, before I got banned from Purple Pill Debate, there was some red pillar on it who said, I think black pillars are doing the black pill as an excuse not to lift. Can you believe that somebody would say that? And it's like, and it's just wrong on so many levels. And I think the first thing, which is something that both red pillars and normies think, feel like it's only black pillars who understand this, is that, you know, the level of, not everybody responds well to weight training. Okay, I mean, like, you know, like I said, I didn't make really any size gains until my mid-20s. Some people won't make any size gains ever. Some people will blow up just because they smelled a weight room. It's and again, what I'm saying is not to not try, but what I'm against is any type of one size fits all approach. You know, just lift bro is just such shallow. It's just such stupid advice, because you don't know. I mean, even if it wasn't wrong for a million other reasons, you don't know how responsive that person's body is going to be to training. You know, so but the other thing is that, I mean, I think we've established this many times over. I mean, what women are really interested in is height and frame. So I mean, like, the idea that, like, you could, I mean, and I think it's really only red pillars and maybe some blue pillars with the whole, like, get a haircut and shower thing. See, but I think thing you have to understand about weightlifting is it's something like, for me, right, I had the interest in weightlifting, but I never had any interest in stuff like clothes or grooming or any stuff like that. In fact, most of the time I couldn't even be bothered to shower. Now, some of that is because I guess, I mean, I'd like to say it's an indifference to what people think about me, but that's not really true. It's more, I didn't really care if people thought I looked like a slob, because I don't care about that stuff. And the reason I don't care about that stuff is because it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, think about it from a guy's perspective, right? If you see a girl who, who dresses like a slob, who doesn't wear makeup, but she's still super attractive, you're going to be way more attracted to her than some girl who, works out, but, and does herself up really nice, but just doesn't have as much going on in the looks department. So I guess I just felt like, this stuff, I just kind of instinctively realized that stuff didn't matter. Whereas I always felt like lifting weights was kind of like the real you. It was somehow less shallow than clothes or cars or haircuts or anything like that. But, I'm increasingly less sure that is the case, because just like, think about, let's just take it from a girl's perspective. Let's say you have a girl who's really ugly, right? And then, she does her hair really nice and does good makeup and wears nice clothes. That's not going to do any good, because her face is still really ugly. I'm not saying that her life doesn't mean anything or anything, but she's still going to be, ugly. It's the whole thing about putting lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. I'm not calling the ugly girl a pig. I'm saying that you put the lipstick on an ugly girl, she's still an ugly girl. And with her nice hair and all that shit, she's still ugly underneath. Well, even if you are successful with weight training, and you do add, like, I don't know, 40 pounds of muscle or whatever it is, however much, you can naturally add to your frame. Steroids is a whole different deal. Even if you do, if your frame is shit, it's kind of like, putting makeup and hairstyling on an ugly girl. You've got muscle now on top of your shit frame. Your frame still sucks. Okay, so it's like, so you didn't change anything. But the thing that really matters, I mean, insofar as any of this shit matters. So, like, what would you like? I mean, I think any guy, right, would rather have, the 8-inch wrist and, not touch a weight versus, the more like lean physique of a, a 6.6 and a 6.5-inch wrist guy who's actually lifted weights. The guy who lifts weights may have more of a gym body, but his physique isn't gonna look as, he's not gonna radiate strength the way the guy with the 8-inch wrist will. No matter, even though the one guy has, added a lot of muscle and the other is just carrying around his natural build. So I'm kind of rambling here. So let's go on to, I wanted to respond to this because he's talking about this, men who work out for vanity. And I guess the reason I want to talk about this is because that's every man who works out. It's for vanity, even if they don't realize it. So we'll get into that now in this video.
Another little video real quick. And this kind of ties into the last one I put out about living your life for you and not other people. And I've been thinking about this one a lot because, I go to the gym 5-6 days a week. I go to Gold's Gym. So that's definitely like a proper gym. There's like a lot of athletes that go there, bodybuilders, fitness enthusiasts and whatnot.
Yeah, just a quick aside, I've been thinking, since I remember I'm trying to lose some weight for health, really is just for health reasons. Like I'm the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm scared of the diabetes. And it just got me thinking so much about, weight loss and gym, in our culture, like how obsessed we are, at least in America. I don't know what it's like in other countries, with our physical appearance, that, that there's so much, that there's tens of billions of dollars, maybe more, spent each year, on various types of weight loss for I mean, some of it's for health, like for me, but a lot of it's for vanity. And they call these things health clubs, but they're vanity clubs. So I mean, how much money is getting spent? And it's just considered like part of the middle class in the West. It's go to the gym. That's something you do. And You know, it's like, so you've got this whole idea of fitness enthusiasts, and it's just like, it's such a, I mean, like, look, whatever, a hobby's a hobby. If it's a hobby, I mean, if it's something you enjoy, by all means do it. But it's like, but it gets to a point where, like, this type of, like, kind of worship of the body is really, I think, really counterproductive and really ultimately kind of self-defeating. But anyway, we'll go on.
And I just have to talk about certain people that you see at the gym and how it kind of ties into living your life for other people and not yourself, and living your life for, I guess approval from others, man. Now, me personally, I'm not trying to talk shit necessarily. I'm not trying to say that these people are bad people. It's not what I'm saying. But it's funny. It's just funny to make fun of it, man. I get a lot of emails from men, and they ask me, maybe they're shy around women, maybe they lack confidence, and a lot of them want to get in better shape, which is understandable. But it seems like the reasoning for wanting to get in better shape and put on muscle or lean out or whatever it is to get the attention, to get the approval of a woman. Now, fellas, listen. How many times you go out in public, it's the mall, the fucking movies, the fucking grocery store, I don't give a fuck, whatever. How often do you go out and you see some fucking slouchy, pot belly, fucking pickle nose, snaggle tooth having, no fucking style having douchebag with a pretty looking girl? How often do you guys see that?
Yeah, I think he kind of hits the nail on the head, because what he does, I mean, if the guy is tall with a good frame, yeah, you do see that pretty often. I mean, I'm sorry, tall with a good frame and young, tall. I mean, if you then you don't. I mean, and those are the main things that women are looking for. And often these guys are not as bad looking in the face as people on the internet would say. People on the internet are very tough on men's facial looks. They'll say, "Oh, that guy's so ugly," and you see he's actually like a decent looking guy. So yeah, this idea, like, I mean, you're definitely conflating things, and that's always bothered me. Just be like, oh, he's a slob, but he still gets women. It's like, yeah, because women don't give a shit, and so it's like, but again, like, I think it ties into like what I said, like, just like women don't give a shit about your clothes or your car, they don't give a shit about, how lean you are either. They, I mean, what they care about is the genetic stuff, your height and your frame, and then your face to some point. So yeah, I mean, what he says here, there's going to be some stuff in the video he says that I disagree with, or else I wouldn't be making this video. But what he says here is a good point. That some of these superficialities are things women don't care about at all.
A lot, right? Yeah, exactly. So why would you think that you need to get ripped or get muscular to attract a woman? And furthermore, with that being said, what a terrible reason to get in shape. What a terrible...
Well, I mean, is it a terrible reason to get in shape? Because, I mean, to me, it's a bad reason to get in shape because it's not going to work. But it's not a bad reason to get in shape otherwise, because, well, why else would you get in shape? I think that there's this, again, we're going back to this, what is the inherent value in being in shape? Why do you want to be in shape? Like, I mean, like, I don't, there's, again, when we really, because we just take it as axiomatic that you're supposed to be in shape. Being in shape is good, but you don't need to be in shape. You just need to be in shape enough. I mean, because there's different levels of conditioning, and as long as you're in condition that you can walk up and down the steps without wheezing, do you really need any more? And I submit that you absolutely do not, and that there may even be negative health consequences to trying to do that, to trying to work that, until you're putting the extra wear and tear on your body, because, the body wears out. It can only take so much. So, I mean, I remember like, people in the media was laughing at Donald Trump because he was saying he didn't exercise because he believes that the body has finite energy reserves. And yes, Donald Trump is an idiot. I get that. And I don't agree that I don't agree with like what he's trying to say, but I also think there's something to it that, I mean, and look at Donald Trump, who is not in shape, who's overweight. He eats like trash. His only exercise is golf, but he doesn't do any exercise for the sake of exercising. And you can say a lot of stuff about him, but he's still doing pretty well for a guy in his mid 70s. I mean, what is he, like almost 76 now, right? He's still doing, physically he's doing okay. I mean, we're seeing signs of cognitive decline, but would exercise really have prevented that? And is he really doing any worse? I mean, honestly, he's probably doing better than most 76-year-olds or 75-year-olds, whatever he is. So, yeah, so I mean, I think that kind of got waylaid here, but the guy was saying, like, oh, you can't get in shape to try to impress women. Well, I agree because it's not going to work. But how is that any other, especially in a video that's saying, well, don't be in shape for vanity. Well, if you're not doing it to impress a woman or other people, why else would you do it besides vanity? So, whatever.
Terrible reason to get in good shape. Why are you going to take your health seriously and be healthy for a woman, or not just a woman, but for?
And this is what they always say. They say, "Oh, it's about being healthy." I'm sorry, but adding 30 pounds of muscle is not going to make you any healthier. It's almost certainly going to make you a little less healthy. There's nothing healthy about adding muscle. Okay, it's just, I'm not saying don't add muscle. I'm saying that there's no health benefits to it. There's potentially some health problems. Now, maybe when you're older and you're starting to like lose muscle, it might make sense to do some stuff. Certainly, it makes sense to do weightlifting as some type of physical, or resistance training as some type of physical therapy. But other than that, no. So I mean, so again, we got a video where we're trashing vanity and stuff, but there's really no other reason to do it. And I think the fact that people will go to get in shape for the sake of either impressing women or impressing other men, that the fact that people will need to do that shows that it has no inherent value.
For anybody's approval. Man, you got to do it for you, dude. Because check this out. If you take your health seriously and start working out before you do it for the approval of anybody else, then you're always going to have that mindset. Whereas if you do it for the approval of a woman or somebody else, what happens when the woman leaves you for another guy? What happens when she leaves you for a guy named fucking Santiago Bonilla? Some fucking he's fucking like this just Chilean guitarist, and he's like super exotic and suave, and just steals your fucking girl. Then what? You're gonna go back to eating fucking Krispy Kremes and drinking fucking Mountain Dew?
Well, yeah. What is wrong with eating Krispy Kremes and Mountain Dew? I mean, if it's food that you like. I mean, again, like in my case, I mean, well, I don't drink. I don't actually consume either of those things. But for me, it would be like Snickers bars and Gatorade. Yeah, because the idea that, yeah, you will, you shouldn't eat that stuff. Why not? I mean, if it's going to cause you health problems, then yeah, of course you shouldn't. But other than that, why not? I mean, because it's going to make you put on a little extra weight. Who cares? What difference does it make? If it's not to impress somebody else, then what's the point?
No, man. You got to have that mindset all the time, dude. So don't do it for anybody but yourself, man. But I have to talk about these dudes at the gym and ways that you can tell a dude is insecure, and a way to tell that a guy is that his life, that his whole being is vanity based. It's vanity based, and for me, that's not respectable. As a man, that's not respectable, because that's what women do. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with women being more into their vanity, but I'm saying if a man is too vain, he's too into how he looks, he's too into his plucked beard and his little eyebrow and waxing his fucking chest, to me, just as a man, I can't respect it. I just can't respect it. So
I can't respect it either. But however, I don't think that what I think this guy is missing, what I think a lot of guys are missing, especially guys who are really into strength culture, is that it's easy to bang on the pretty boys or the wannabe pretty boys. But what about the guys whose vanity manifests itself in a different way? As kind of like, oh, no, I'm not a pretty boy. I'm just like a big, ugly type guy, and only, I care about strength and shit like that and stuff like that. But that's its own aesthetic that they're really, and granted, it doesn't take the effort that there's a lot of styling it is, but a lot of these guys really are trying to project this, rugged masculine image. It's just an image that doesn't require as much effort. So it's the same type of thing, right? They're just as vain, it's just in a different way.
I got these dudes at the gym, and they have very impressively muscular physiques. But a way that you can tell that a dude, and I call it gay jacked. I call it gay jacked. Like there's guys who are jacked, and then there's guys who are gay jacked. And for me, a guy who is gay jacked, and I'm not saying he's gay, but it's funny. I'm not saying he's gay, but the whole reason he's jacked is for the aesthetic appeal, for the, you know, for vanity. It's for the approval of others. It's not for functionality. It's not because he's an athlete. It's not
Functionality? I mean, what functionality is that? I mean, when in real life are you going to need to bench press 400 pounds? There's nothing functional about the way that these strongman types, a guy like this, strongman powerlifters types train. And again, they're not telling you not to do it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going out and lifting weights and being into strength culture. It's fine. But but then why are they always hiding behind these words like functional? Oh, I'm all about this is all functional, man. It's like, dude, you're not working on a farm, all right? You have no need for all this muscle and strength. There's nothing functional about it.
It's not because he's anything other than a fucking dude who's insecure with himself, most likely. I got these guys at the gym, and they're jacked. They have these jacked upper bodies, and they're shaved. They're completely hairless. No arm hair, no chest hair, no stomach hair, but they have hairy legs. How many times do you see that guy at the gym? If you see that guy at the gym, I guarantee that dude is not a happy person. I guarantee he's not happy. Because if a man has hairy legs and no hair on his upper body, obviously he takes time out of his day to shave all the hair off of his body. That's got to be exhausting. And why does he do that?
This really isn't true. I mean, I had hairy legs from like the time I was, geez, I don't even know, until I was like, I think it was probably before I was even 13. But I didn't have hair on my upper body for like really until my 20s, and even now I don't. I mean, you wouldn't see, if you saw me without my shirt, you wouldn't think I was shaved, but actually you might. You might. I mean, I guess you wouldn't, because I've got a few hairs sprouting out, but it's not. But it's very little. So, you know, certainly when I was younger, you would have absolutely saw me. I'd been one of these guys he would have saw at the gym and would have saw like, oh, this dude shaves his upper body. It's like, no, I just don't grow hair on my upper body. I mean, I think he's probably right in most cases. I'm sure most of these guys are shaving their upper body, which is pathetic. But yeah, some guys are just wired that way.
Do that? Why? Why? So he can look a little bit more vascular when he takes his shirt off. So he can show off his definition. He show off, right? And this is the kind of guy that's probably going to put a lot of money.
Yeah, but you know, and I don't know this guy, but you yourself are, and maybe you're doing it subconsciously, showing off every day. You know, I can tell that you're a guy that is very proud of, you know, of your physique and your build, and you know, I can tell from looking at you that you're a really strong guy. And, you know, you're obviously a really I'm talking to this guy in this video, is obviously a really masculine guy. And you yourself, I'm sure, are very proud of this image that you're projecting. Now, I mean, and then you can go back to the same thing. Well, it's like what he would probably say is, well, I'd be doing this anyway. And a lot of it is just me being me. It's like, okay, but you're still vain about it, and it's still, so don't act like you don't care about what, like, you're just indifferent to other people, what other people think. And I think that you in your own way are very conscious of the image that you're projecting.
Into his car, going to put a lot of money into his clothes and how he looks on the outside rather than developing a personality. And something else.
You can't develop a personality. I mean, Jesus, I can't believe we're still saying this shit. And this is one thing, I mean, the red pill and the blue pill have so much in common. You know, I mean, personality is just as genetic as height and frame. You know, I mean, if you know, some people, like I said, I've known plenty of people who were just boring as shit. I've known plenty of people who just had no personality. It's just, some people really aren't very interesting. It's just how it goes.
Something else I notice about these guys that do that have like overly developed muscles and clearly wax their bodies and pay way too much attention to how they look. These guys oftentimes, almost every time, they lack personality. They lack this conversation, because they have to compensate for their lack of personality with how they look. There's this YouTube channel that I like, and he has a great channel, and I've learned a lot from this guy, and his name is Jeff Cavalier. And he's a like a physical therapist slash coach, like a fitness coach. He's got a channel called Athlean X. Excellent channel. But This guy is kind of the guy I'm talking about. He's got a very impressively muscular physique. I mean, you could see every muscle popping out, and it is very impressive. And it does take, that is hard work and dedication, but for what? And he has a completely hairless upper body, which I can't respect. Now, if you're naturally hairless, that's one thing, but if you're clearly a hairy dude, because I've seen his legs, and his legs are covered in dark, like black hair. Like he's a hairy dude. And he has a long pencil neck. So that's another dead giveaway. If a dude has a very muscular physique, but a long, skinny pencil neck, that ain't natural, dude. That ain't you. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell with my headphones on.
Yeah, I think what I wasn't really sure what he was saying here at first, but it seems because I thought he was just saying like, oh, these guys are not training their neck. And I think that's not what he's saying. I think what he's saying is that, you know, if your neck is proportionate, it means you're using steroids, and that's certainly a very big dead giveaway. And you know, Athlean X, obviously, by looking at him, is obviously using steroids. Obviously, if you have I mean, I know Athlean X has done videos about training his neck. The guy does do neck training. And I would agree with most of the stuff he said about Athlean. I mean, he seems like a nice guy, this Athlean X. I've learned some stuff from him, actually. But yeah, the thing is, these guys are, I don't understand why this guy in this video isn't making a bigger deal about the whole steroids thing. When you see guys who have, like, muscular physiques in a way that are unattractive, that's pretty much always the result of steroids. You know, these guys, yeah, they use steroids because you know, steroids hits your androgen receptors, and there aren't as many in your neck, so you're gonna get disproportionately big traps and chests where there are a lot of androgen receptors, but your neck won't grow as much, and your legs won't grow as much either. That's why, you know, the stereotype of the guys with the really big upper bodies and scrawny legs comes in. So yeah, so I mean, I know what he's saying here. I think that you know, what he says about, I mean, you have to train the whole body, but at the same time, you can do all the training you want. And if you're using steroids and your genetics aren't right, you're going to get you're going to get big bigger in a very ugly way, in a very non-aesthetic way, and a way that's frankly just pathetic to look at. So, I mean, I think that, you know, he's not recognizing his big or his mesomorph privilege here, but he's right on the merits.
But I'm not gonna fuck with it. But I don't have a long, skinny neck. I've kind of a shorter, stockier neck. At least for my build. So that's my point, is that these guys who live for attention, they live for vanity, they live for the approval of others. To me, that's just not respectable, and like, there's no way that you can be happy, man. So for me, what I do, check my time. What I do is, when I go to the gym, I work out for functionality. I work out to...
That word again. What exactly are you doing for a living? Are you just, like, you know, bending iron bars all day? Are you a professional fighter? What functionality is this? Functionality is something you use to justify it to yourself. There's nothing functional about the way you train.
To be strong as a whole. I work out...
Why? Why do you want to be strong as a whole? What is the point of that? Who cares? And the answer is the answer of why you do it, of why you care, is vanity. And for the billionth time, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it per se. I'm not saying there's anything. Again, I used to lift. I may very well go back to lifting, but I'm not going to lie to myself about why I do it. You know, like, yeah, I know that nobody else cares and nobody else is going to be impressed whether I add weight or get stronger or stuff. But I'm doing it for my own sense of self, because I want to feel strong and I want to look stronger. And that's the same reason you lift, and that's vanity.
To be strong as a whole, I only do compound exercises, meaning that I work more than one muscle at...
Yeah, well, when you have a stockier mesomorphic physique, you can get away with that shit. But when you're more ectomorphic, I mean, when you're having a lagging body part, you probably are going to have to do some direct work to the smaller muscles. And they're, you know, and I'm assuming he at least does some isolation exercises for his neck anyway. So, yeah, I mean, like, I used to be big on that, compound movements only, but that's not really necessarily great advice for ectomorphs.
You know, at the same time, instead of doing isolation exercises like bodybuilders do to attain a more aesthetically pleasing physique. which in my mind is not very functional. Number two, I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week for my mental health. That is the primary goal, is for my mental health, because every time I hit the gym and I do my weights and I do my stretching and my foam roller and my cardio and just whatever, and then I hit the sauna and then a cold shower, I feel so fucking good, man. I feel so tranquil in my mind. I feel...
Yeah, I'm going to cut him off here. Yeah, I'll go back to this thing. I think I touched on it earlier. The your mental health. Okay, so again, so if you only had one day to live, you'd still go to the gym, because I mean, if you're really saying it just feels so good, I mean, it feels good because you feel like you're accomplishing something. I mean, I agree. I'm not saying you don't get a lot out of it, but I'm saying that you get a lot out of it because you feel like you're continuing to build or at least sustain a physique that you're really proud of. Again, which is fine. And then, you know, putting that work in feels good. It feels good to work to put in work to accomplish your goals. That does feel good. I agree. But again, I want to say there's nothing like inherently that it's going to give you mental value. I mean, again, weightlifting is not going to do anything in and of itself for your mental health. Cardio exercise may improve both your physical and your mental health. That's a little more controversial. It depends. But weightlifting, anaerobic stuff, nah, that's not going to do anything for you. I mean, do it, but you know, if you do it, but don't lie and say, don't lie to us, don't lie to yourself that you're doing it just for yourself. I mean, I believe he's doing it for himself in the sense that nobody else, that he would lift even if he was the only person on earth, just like I used to say. I believe him in that, but it's still, I mean, just because it's just you doesn't mean vanity. I mean, it doesn't mean that vanity isn't an issue. I mean, I'm sure there would still be like, if you were somebody really focused on your appearance, you could be the only person on earth and still stare at yourself in the mirror all day. I've definitely known people who would do just that if they had the opportunity. So, yeah, you know, anyway, I'm sorry about how rambling this video came out, but I do think it was important points to talk about. So that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next.